Welcome back to the Achilles channel, everyone. Anybody who's listened to my videos before, watched my videos before, have probably heard me talk about Cloud and Pivot. I've talked extensively on them, based as well as I can. I'm not the most articulate speaker, and as you can well see, I'm not a journalist. I'm just an average American who stumbled upon this information, read it, understood it, and then paid attention and watched it happen. You can see it happen. So I talk about Cloud and Pivot. I talk about Saul Alinsky. I talk about the unions, connections with these groups of people, the Weather Underground. These are all groups of people who have one goal, and that goal is the end of U.S. imperialism. And Barack Obama is part of this group. Right now, he's the leader of the free world. He's the one that reigns supreme over pushing this agenda of the collapse of capitalism. But because I'm not very articulate, I went to the American Thinker because they have an article here, and I want to read it to you. It's about Cloud and Pivot. This is by Cloud, Pivot, and Government by James Simpson. It is time to cast aside all remaining doubt. President Obama is not trying to lead America forward to recovery, prosperity, and strength. Quite the opposite, in fact. In September of last year, American Thinker published my article, James Simpson, Barack Obama and the Strategy of Manufactured Crisis, part of a series. It connected then presidential candidate Barack Obama to individuals and organizations practicing a malevolent strategy for destroying our economy and our system of government. Since then, the story of that strategy has found its way across the blogosphere into the airwaves of radio stations across the country. The methodology is known as the Cloud Pivot strategy, and we can all be grateful to David Horowitz and his Discover the Networks for originality, exposing and explaining it to us. He describes it as the strategy of forcing political change through orchestrated crisis. The Cloud Pivot strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with a flood of impossible demands, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse. Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven were two lifelong members of the Democratic Socialists of America who taught sociology. These people are dangerous. Sociologists. Sociology at Columbia University. And the reason why I say that is because they understand the mind. They understand how people think, and they understand how you alter people's perception with verbally or visually or whatever. These people understand the mind. They're dangerous. Piven and these intellectuals the same. They're dangerous people. Piven later went on to the City University of New York. In a May 1966 Nation magazine article titled "The Weight of the Poor," they outlined their strategy, proposing to use grassroots radical organizations, this is Saul Alinsky, to push ever more strident demands for public services at all levels of government. The result, they predicted, would be a profound financial and political crisis that would unleash powerful forces for major economic reform at the national level. The ends justify the means. Do you understand? They're talking about destroying people's lives here in order to push forth an ideology for major economic. The result, they predict, would be a profound financial and political crisis. This crisis was orchestrated, and people lost homes, they lost their jobs, people committed suicide, people lost everything because of what these people have done. Do you understand? In order to push forth their ideological change in America. The ends justify the means for these people. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care what it takes to get there. If they have to kill you to get there, then they will. They will. The result, they predicted, they implemented the strategy by creating a succession of radical organizations, most notably among the Association of Community Organizers for Reform Now, ACORN, with the help of veteran organizer Wade Rathke. Their crowning achievement was the Motor Voter Act, signed into law by Bill Clinton in 1993, with Cloward and Piven standing behind him when he signed it. As we now know, ACORN was one of the chief drivers of the high-risk mortgage lending that eventually led to the financial crisis. But the motor voter law was another component of the strategy. It created vast vulnerabilities in our electoral system, which ACORN then exploited. ACORN's vote registration scandals throughout the U.S. are predictable fallout. The motor voter law has also been used to open another vulnerability in the system, the registration of vast numbers of illegal aliens who then reliably vote Democrat. Herein lies the real reason Democrats are so anxious for open borders. Security be damned. For votes, for their power. They are not working for you. They are not looking out for the middle class. They are looking to take power from the middle class and put it into the hands of a few. And then they control everything. The ends justify the means. They'll destroy this nation and everyone in it. They don't believe in the system that we have. They have destroyed the system in order to change it. It should be clear that anyone with a mind and two eyes that this president and this Congress do not have our interests at heart. They are implementing this strategy on an unprecedented scale by flooding America with a tidal wave of poisonous initiatives, orders, regulations, and laws. As Rahm Emanuel said, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. Please, look up Cloward and Piven. I mean, most of the people who listen to me are people who have been watching my videos and agree with me. But if you come across this video and you don't agree with anything I say, look these people up. These people hold sway with our political, our elected officials. They are building a political class. Do you understand? Where they reign over a permanent underclass. Communism is what they're doing. Equality. They believe that communism is everyone being equal, classless. When the reality is it creates a political class and a permanent underclass is what it does, and they're doing it by design, and the American people are losing by design. God bless America.